definitely making it very loud. Like something wasn't. I don't know that it would quite like with that water bottle. Where'd the boys go?
I took them home. Yeah.
That was fun. They're tough little guys.
They are, sometimes. So somebody had their foot stepped on. Magically.
Until they do it to each other.
Yeah, well, it's not in our house.
You both these guys. Keep going there. With the other question. Where'd Paul go? He went to his car. Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay. Very nice. Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that book again. And for sorry. I love it. Wait, Callie's
Saying she was like, what I don't know what.
oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what I counted up. Yes,
Is that all the pizza?
that's pizza. Yeah.
One toast purple.
Yes, okay. Cheese.
Food is what?
Oh no, that's okay.
That's pizza for my brother.
Yeah, I can help with that.
No, there's a bunch of straight cheese in the fridge too. This one?
Work them.
Crap for the cat.
Grab a slice.
Where's pizza from?
Yeah, from our Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were nothing was here.
I know, whatever's out. Yeah.
Okay.
So. There's a toaster over there. Yeah, you got another? You want something? Toaster oven? Mom. Throw away the water. Alright, so left hand in here. Here. Real. Cheese. Mom. One. Water, guys. Hey, guys.
everybody see when they got up, so just find them.
Also wanted pizza.
Sure, so.
There's cheese. Oh, I cheese and margarita. Margarita.
Callie?
Hi. Are you gonna cold pizza?
Two rice pizza. Oh, yeah.
Margarita, do you want? Wait, I appreciate it. Turn on my crust too. Saying sometimes thinking that we can cut everything. That's why I ran over there. So, yeah. It was in the bus. He came in there with that. I feel like it's gonna be one of my They are, but they don't taste good.
Yeah. Guys. Yeah. I tried registering.
I don't think my dad's
You get still on the fly.
Yeah.
Marcy, did you watch this one? Sub 2. 129.
Ah,
So it's
what was your target?
look good.
Look good? Did she look good?
I didn't see it, but I don't think so.
Where did you get that one? How the boys do? Oh, yeah? Yes. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Can you make me that, please?
No cheese down, you get a bread, one piece first.
Yes, ma'am. You want me to speak or?
Yeah, it's lower down.
Yeah, I need so.
Yeah, we definitely got it here. Definitely lower down. Sorry.
I feel like I've never seen your mom.
2 more minutes, Paul. 2 more minutes. Oh, here it is. That's how I brought.
I don't think she does.
Wait, who do you think you're
I
talking
can
to?
tell. Put it over here.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. It's on my soccer bag.
Really? She did. I thought we were walking it to her mom.
Wait, really?
Wait, really?
Wait, you're keeping freedom?
I'm not keeping it, but like I'm gonna take it home with me and bring it to like someone else.
Those are street cats.
No!
She goes, cheetah?
The neighborhood bridge.
What if it's someone?
Street dogs and street
Oh,
dogs.
well, they probably put a call.
The neighborhood that we're in, there's like street dogs and street cats. That's their house. They live their best life free. They-
Yeah. It was just right here. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Oh, did she tell you? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll serve them. I can do all this stuff on that. You good? Anything? Chris, for West? Yeah. Doesn't cause me very well. Goldfish and fruit snacks. Goldfish and fruit snacks?
Or what is that on your pizza?
Yes.
What's on your pizza?
Margarita.
Oh, God.
You did?
Alright, Kelly, what do you want?
He's really interesting. He's
I see one there. Stop. Oh, who's Parker? Yeah, no, so not the one that was going up to the south. But I don't know which one you're talking about. Oh. I mean, it's my
You got everybody?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you guys enjoy yourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Hey, real quick. Marcy ran her half marathon this morning. She got a sub 2 hours, which is really a good time. So 1 hour, 59 minutes. So let's shoot her a quick video. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes.
All right, you guys ready? All right, here we go. Ready? Go.
Congratulations, Marcy. We're so proud of you and you boys.
And awesome. So good job.
Can we send another video saying thank you so much?
Yeah, you're good now. Okay. All right. Thank you for Marcy. Are you ready? Here we go.
Thank you so much for all you do for us. Okay.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Thank you so much for all you do for us, Marcy.
They didn't even practice that. That was really good. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys coming in. I told Marcy the other day, it's fun. Like, you guys have come back with 3 years now?
Yeah.
It's fun watching you guys grow up.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we see you like really once a year. So a lot changes in a year.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty cool to have that relationship. We appreciate you guys coming back. And hopefully every time you come, you're reminded of things, because there are a lot of things that we do consistently that you're reminded of. And hopefully every time you come, you learn something maybe a little bit new. Because as you get older, things hit you differently. We may say the same things every year, but it's going to hit you a little bit differently every year because you're getting older. You're learning more about yourself. So you're learning more about your team. You're learning more just in general. Okay? So hopefully you guys are learning as you come. What are some things? What are some things you guys learned over the last couple of days? I know there's a lot of things running through your head. Just pick one. What's something you learned? Yes.
That we need to communicate more.
Yeah, communication. That's probably a constant thing year over year, right? And not just your team either.
Yeah.
What else?
Speak up, girls.
Focus.
Yeah, focus. Again, there's no wrong answers here. Anything else? And maybe not something that you learned, but something that you're reminded of, or things that we felt were important that we were pushing on this in the last couple of days.
Communicating.
Yep.
Like faith in
Yep.
God. And like using it and never doing it.
Absolutely. That's a big piece of what we do. Good. So with each of you guys, I want to talk a little bit about kind of playing at the next level, right? So everybody's next level is different, right? Marcy went on to play on the national team. That's like the nextest level. It's not a word, but I like to make up words. The nextest level, right? But not everybody's going to attain that or even wants to, right? Some people want to play in college. Some people just want to make their varsity high school team, right? Or they want to make be a starter on their club team. There's a next level for everybody. I would say whatever you're at right now, you should be pushing yourself to another level, right? Don't ever be content with where you are. What are some things you think that push players to the next level? Whatever that is, it doesn't matter what that next level is. I think the things are very consistent that push you to the next level. What do you guys think those things are? Yeah.
Better players, or like wanting to be better than other
Yeah,
players.
that desire, right? That desire to be better. What pushes you, right? And sometimes finding what that thing is to push you, right, makes you a little bit better. We can talk about things that motivate each of us differently. Can lead to that. That's a good one. What else pushes players to another level? Yeah.
Just like self-determination, just like to get there.
Yeah, self-determination, self-motivation. Again, similar in what finding what motivates you. All right. There's something that goes even further into that. So somebody hits it. What else?
Like teammates can push you to be better.
Yes, having someone to push you. I'd even take that even like accountability, right? Who can you bring around you? And that's one thing I love about our sport is it's a team sport, right? So like you got like your sisters here, and how do they, how can they motivate you? How can they hold you accountable? How did the ice cream dates go last night? Good. That's one thing that I would encourage you guys to continue to do something like that, because that's where accountability comes in. That's where you can kind of be vulnerable off the field with your friends, with your teammates, and say, hey, these are some things that I'm trying to attain as a player, as a person. And it won't be with everybody. It might be somebody you bond with. Say, hey, could you hold me accountable? You're actually really good at this. It's something that I want to be better at. Can you hold me accountable to that? All right. I think that's a good thing. Something that comes out of those ice cream dates, or whatever you guys want to call them, that can come out of that.
I think they also learn maybe what some other people might be struggling with that they don't, And
Absolutely.
So you have a different insight onto that person that's on your team and what's going on in their life.
Totally. We used to say on our team, you don't have to. We would say this to our college players. You don't have to like everybody, right? You don't have to. But you have to be teammates, okay? And there's certain things about players on your team that might drive you absolutely crazy. All right, but as you get to know them and you learn what makes them tick, you may still not like it, but you may understand more why they are that way, right? You can be a little bit more accommodating. Doesn't mean that you're okay with it all the time. Like, I'll give you an example. Nash, who you guys met yesterday, today, this weekend, he's my crazy kid. He's my Marcy, basically. He's my Marcy and a little boy. Okay? And he is nonstop 1,000 miles an hour. And we love him to death, right? But he can be a little overwhelming sometimes, right? But if you know him, and you can say, why he is that way, you say, hey, okay, I can deal with that for a little bit, but I'm going to take him home for the next hour so I can have a break, right? So same thing with like your teammates. Like, hey, I can be around this person for a little bit amount of time, love her, I know why she's this way because we've talked about it, whatever, but then I need a break. And others, you're like, man, I can be with this person all the time, right? But you don't know that just being on the field with each other or being in practice every day. You have to get to know each other really, really well. And with that bond, you become better teammates. You work harder for each other, fight for each other. You're a better team, which then makes you a better player. Okay. What are some other things that separate players at the next level? I would take all of these things that you're kind of saying and set. You guys did the other day. Set goals. Goal setters, right? Know what you're going for, right? You guys did some goal setting. Look at that. You set some goals. This setting goals, writing them down, separates players that want to get to the next level. You just say you want to get to the next level, or you put in action to get to the next level. Writing down goals, all right, is what separates players from one level to the next, I think. Does that make sense? Writing those things down, all right? What do you think, when we're looking at like the next level, whatever that is, what do you think coaches are looking for at that the next level player? Yeah.
People who are giving 100%.
Okay. Yep. Is everybody's 100% the same?
No.
No. So what a coach would ask of you is that you give all that you have, right? All right. One player's all they have maybe here in one area. Like let's say one person's all they have in skill is here. Another player, all they have in skill is here. All right. But as a coach, if you're giving that, you're giving all that you have. That's all I can ask of you, right? But this player, if their skill is here, maybe their heart is here, right? And this player who has the skill, maybe their heart's only here, right? If you put those two players together, what happens? Boom. Okay? Then multiply that by 13, 14, whatever your team is. If everybody's giving all they have, all right, it's not 1 + 1 is 2. It's 1 + 1 is like 10, all right, or 15. Okay? So all a coach can ask of you is to give all that you have, all right? And sometimes you may think that a coach is telling you, like, man, this coach is just, and it's not, I know you have more, most of you have more than one coach, right? You have Lana, you guys have school coaches and stuff like that. And I think it's good because you get different personalities. You may have teammates that are pushing you. I hope that you have teammates that are pushing you, all right? If they're pushing you, it's because they believe that you have a little bit more than maybe you even believe that you have yourself, all right? I would say instead of being annoyed by that, I would value that. I would push myself towards people that see more in me than maybe I see in myself, okay? As opposed to people that are breaking you down, all right, or just meeting you where you are. Be around people that are going to challenge you and push you to be better. That separates players who want to play at the next level. They surround themselves with players, other players and coaches who want to push you to be better, right? Challenge you in everything, not just your skill, but your mentality, your heart, all the things that make you a great person, make you a great player. What are some other things that make separate? There's some things even on here, right, that separate players. Oh, these are our pillars. Why ACL prevention? Why is that on there? You guys are getting to the age where this really matters. Why is that on there? Seems very specific, right?
Cross, why is it on there?
Why is it on there?
Protect our voice.
Yeah.
Because what? Because what?
We don't want to hurt our voice.
Right. Why? Do you know why didn't we say ankle prevention or shoulder protection? Why ACL?
Because ACL is something can get you out of the game forever.
Right. Do you know that it's the highest rate of incident in female soccer players? ACL. That's why it's on there. All right. If I had to guess what injury was going to take you out of a game, I would say probably ACL. Not concussion, not ankle injury, not any of those things. I would say ACL. Okay. Because the highest incident of injury in female soccer players is the ACL.
Yeah, even Kate, who toured us yesterday, she's had 2.
Yeah,
Two
she's
ACLs.
had 4 Ks, she's had 2.
Yeah.
The great thing is you can come back for it, but it's not 100% preventable, but there are steps that you can take that can help strengthen that so that you can play and increase your longevity.
Risk, right?
Decrease your risk. That's important. It's important to, it's kind of what I said yesterday. There's coaches that'll tell you, have an idea, think through the game, but never like walk you through the steps. Like, you need to know why that's on there. I had a coach one time just said I should do ACL prevention. It just seems kind of random. It's not, right? That's a huge risk. Okay, it's not something to be scared of. It's to just be prepared for and do things. You can do things that help prevent that. All right, and it goes along with nutrition and how you eat, and how you sleep, hydration. All of those things go into it, but you can be very specific about that one.
I think that kind of goes along with fitness too, right? If you're fit, you're less susceptible to an injury, right? Because you're
100%.
not playing tired,
100%.
playing focused.
What are I just put my feet just got really hot. I realized the vent is pushing me. Just getting my feet hot. See how I'm standing? What are when we talk about like your next level? And Atlanta brought up fitness. What are your guys' thoughts on fitness?
They love it.
Love it. I loved it too. I loved it to the point that when I stopped playing soccer, I never wanted to run another day in my life. It took about 6 or 7 years to realize I actually did like running. The one thing that you can control as a player, one of the things you can control as a player is your fitness. Your coach can't control that, right? She can run you, your coach can run you, can put you through different things. But the one thing that can separate you as a player on the field is your fitness. As a college coach, okay, girls are coming in from the summer, whether they're coming in their first year or their 5th year. The summer is a time when college coaches don't really have any control over what their players do during the summer. We can tell them what to do. We can give them a packet. You've heard about the fitness packet, all that stuff. We can tell them what to do. We can't hold their hand and make them do it. But when they show up on August 1st, they have a game on August 10th. Okay? You have 10 days. Are they going to get fit in 10 days? No. But as a coach, if I have to win on day 10, most likely, who are the kids on day one, I'm going to start pouring into the ones that are fit, the ones that I know are ready to play right away. And who controlled that during that time? Themselves, right? I can't tell you how many players I've had sit in my office and wonder why they weren't playing. I'm like, man, you can't pass the fitness test. Why would you be playing? You know, when all these other girls can, right? What are you doing on your own to separate yourself from everybody else? You want it more. You're willing to do a little bit more. You're getting touches on your own. I think we were talking the other day. One of the things that's missing from, I think, our game right now is the hunger and desire to go out on our own and train, get better on our own, work on our skill, all right? The time that you have with your team is not enough to take you to the next level, right? Because everybody's doing that, right? So if we're all doing the same things, we're all kind of rising at the same level. But somebody's willing to do a little bit more on their own. And some of those things might be ACL prevention, might be fitness, it might be how they're eating, might be how they're sleeping. What are the extra things that you're willing to do to separate yourself from other players?
And I think like just going out by yourself with a ball for 10 minutes that's where your creativity comes from, right? There's no coach there, there's no body there. You're just out there with the ball by yourself, like being creative.
Absolutely.
Makes you a little more creative as a player.
Absolutely. My little boys that like, I don't think you saw Jet a whole lot today because he was intimidated by you guys, which was funny to me because like his older brother is your age, his oldest brother, and he'll kick him all day long. But he's really creative. He's not coached. We don't coach him. He just goes out and plays with his brothers and has to survive. So he's got good little touches because he has to like avoid his 14-year-old brother who's going to freaking slay him because Miller doesn't care if he's 7. He's going to slay him. So when Jet was coming and said, I'm going to break their ankles, he's all talk. He does that with his brother, but it's just because he goes out and plays. We don't train him, you know. He just does it. And that's, you guys can do that on your own. There's wall stuff. There's even 1v1 stuff that you guys can do on your own. What else from a next level standpoint? What else do you want me to hit on that?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Any questions about like next level stuff? We can talk. Parents have questions about college stuff or any next level stuff. You guys have goals and things you want to talk through of like what you're trying to attain as a player. You have questions about how to navigate that.
Ask it, what do you want to attain? You ask Paul how to get there.
What are some of y'all's goals? Anybody?
How should they, can you give an example along those lines of what they should be doing now if their goal is to play D1 soccer? Like what should they, we talk about like outside fitness and things like that, practice and skills. Or can you just give an example? Obviously it's not like, because Savannah told you out, she wants that, her goal right now is to play D1 soccer. Where does she need to be, like, for a week, you know, I know you can't say for sure, but like how many hours, you know, what should she be doing if that's still her goal?
So I get that question a lot, and unfortunately, there's not a mathematical calculation that will say, okay, do these 10 things, and you'll be a Division I soccer player. I wish that there was, and there's people that out there that will sell you that there is.
Yeah, I just know like an idea.
Right, right. So to get to that, it kind of goes back to kind of what I was saying. So let's define the Division I soccer thing. So basically what you're saying is I want to play at the highest level of women's soccer in the United States.
Right.
Now right under professional. Because before that used to be the highest level because there was no professional, but now the professional level is very given. So you're basically saying I want to play the highest level of amateur soccer for women in the United States. Okay? So you're talking about being what percentage of people in the country when it comes to people your age? What percent?
Do you know the answer?
Less than 1%. Less than 1%. To play at the highest level of Division I.
Right.
Now, it's 6 or 7% of all high school players play college soccer. 6 to 7%. Okay, now that's all of high school soccer players. I believe if you're in the club system, your percentage is a little bit greater. Okay, you're in a club system, you're playing higher level soccer, I think that percentage is a little bit bigger. But the national average is about 6 or 7% of all high school players end up playing college soccer. That's a small amount of people. Okay, so what do you have to do to put yourself in that top 1%? Or top, let's say it's 5%. Still a small percentage. What do you have to do? You have to commit more than everybody else. Now, so the things that are involved in that are right here. I think, we think, this would be our formula, okay? You know, I know Marcy talked about worship and what that means for different people in their life, what that means. Work, are you willing to outwork your opponent? Because you're competing, right? All of a sudden, if you're the top 5%, you're competing with the other 95% of people to get to that 5%. So are you willing to outwork those people? Are you willing to be the most fit? Healthy fit. This isn't like go out and run and like starve yourself and starve your body. It's about being healthy fit. Are you willing to do that? And what does that take, right? Focus. We talk about focus a lot, okay? Serve. Are you serving your teammates? I believe, and Marcy and I believe, that if you serve your teammates and you serve others, you get better, okay? So outserve people. Outskill. Are you willing to go do more? All right? I just said this. What you're getting in training weekly from your coach is not enough to put you in the top 1%. The 1%ers, all right, are out on their own. There's a girl that I've worked with. She's been called into the U20 national team twice now. I did nothing for her, by the way. I just know her. I won't say it. I'm not taking credit for her national team. What I'm getting to is she did it on her own. All right? She's the girl that gets to say, hey, Sam, you've got to take the night off. You're overdoing it. You're complaining about a little bit of a hamstring thing. Hey, you need to take the night off. We have to hold her back from training. Okay? That's the top 1%. Why does she keep getting called back to the national team? Because from the time she was maybe even a little bit younger than you, she was always doing more. Okay? And that's skill. Okay? I saw a video of her at national team camp. She got called in a few weeks ago. She's at national team camp in California, and her dad sent me a video of her nutmegging someone for a goal at national team camp. That's confidence. Okay? You're brand new to the national team camp. All right? You're the new kid on the block. And you go out and you're nutmegging people for fun.
That's Peyton.
Yeah, right. You know. So what happens? She gets called back 3 weeks later. She's now going. They're in Colombia, I think. The national team, the U20s are training in Colombia right now. Okay. She outskilled Marcy. Marcy was not the most skillful way that Sam is as a player, but she was one of the best players in the air in the world. Why? Because she trained it every day. Literally every day. She's out doing it on her own. Okay. What is the thing that separates you? What makes you who you are as a player? Continue to hone and be the best you can at that. And the things that you're not great at, continue to make those things better. Okay, that was Marcy. She's great in the air. No one would ever beat her in the air. Okay, if you did, you probably had an elbow into the nose. Okay, you're going to feel it if you beat her in the air. But she always had to work with her feet, right? And her running form.
Yeah, running.
But those are things that Atlanta could never break her running form. She tried. Okay, but she had to work on those things to stay on par to be on the national team. Okay, and again, it's not just about national team. I had girls that trained collegiately that I said, hey, coach, I want to play more. Okay, listen, you have the heart, you have the desire, you're fit, but your skill isn't where it needs to be. Okay, you're really good at this. Go work on these things. All right, on your own. And I'd see them out there, they're working on things, and it wasn't the things I told them to work on. They're working on things they were great at. They're never making any strides. Okay, so work on the things that, like, the things you don't like to do, or probably the things you're not good at. Do them. Get better at them. Okay? Mental toughness. How do you get mentally tough? How do you get mentally tough?
You fail and get back at it.
That's right. Put yourself through tough things. Things aren't going to be easy. I mentioned Sam. I mentioned Marcy. I could mention probably 60 players that I coached collegiately that, you know, I thought at the beginning of their career probably wouldn't make it to where they made it to. But they pushed through things, whether it was injury, whether it was family problems, whether it was people not believing in them, but they believed in themselves, or had one other person that believed in them, and they latched onto that person, and they rose to the top of it. Even a girl who came on as a walk-on for me at Baylor, never played till her senior year, and she was a starting center back her senior year. Didn't play. I mean, she played a minute here or there through her career, but her senior year, she was a captain center back. That never happens. Usually kids just quit.
What was her name? Did she talk to us?
No.
Okay.
No. This was 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. She's off in New York as a broker now, like making millions of dollars. Which I would take that to mental toughness.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. She's now thriving in the world of finance. And body readiness. Are you willing to do the things more than everybody else? It's a long-winded answer, but it's not an easy route to get to that top 1%. You want to play at the highest level of women's, I'll call amateur soccer. You got to do more than everybody else is willing to do. Okay, there are I need to say this too. There's about 350 Division I women's soccer programs in the country. Okay, so if you want to play Division I soccer, every one of you can play Division I soccer, but there's different levels of Division I soccer. So I think when you're saying Division I, you're talking about the Power 4, Power 5 conferences, Big 12, Big 10, ACC, SEC. That's what everybody wants to do, right? But I'm telling you, the players that are there are doing more than everybody else. And it's getting more and more competitive, okay? Now, I want to say this, does that help answer a little bit? Okay. The other thing that I would say on top of that is, I think it's good for you guys to understand, it's good to set goals. I want to play Division I soccer. Set the goal. But also understand that when you start the college process, you may realize that may not be a fit for you. Playing at a Baylor or a Texas or a TCU or North Carolina, Florida State, that may not be a fit. Because at the end of the day, I talked to a girl 2 days ago. She's actually on campus at Baylor visiting. She could play at Baylor. I don't know if it's the best fit for her. The best fit for her might be actually Lipscomb in Nashville, Tennessee. They're a good mid-major Division I program. They'll beat some Power 5 schools. They're a good school. University of North Texas, the Mean Green. They're a good mid-major program. They will beat up.
They're better than I thought they
You
were.
guys go see them play.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good. John does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, one of the most middling top teams consistently is the North Texas Mean Green. They live up to that mean name. I love it. I love playing them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I want to be clear in that. It's like, hey, I think it's good to set goals and say, hey, I want to be, maybe the goal is, hey, I want to be in the top 7% of all women's soccer players coming out of high school. That's a great goal. Now then, where do I fit? Where's the best school for me? Right?
Could you say some D2 teams could beat some D1 teams?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So,
Absolutely.
don't get caught up in the.
And then
The logo.
I just
Yeah.
threw that out.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Very,
But-
very top. But
Right, but I think it's good, especially in scenarios like this, to call it out
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's said so much. I think sometimes even what we see on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and all the social media is like where all these girls are going to school. And it's like a lot of those girls won't be there after a year.
Right.
They won't because they're like, okay, yeah, I can go, walk on at Baylor or walk on at Texas, and then after a year, they haven't played. They're not even traveling, and they're like, man, I'm working my tail off day in and day out, and I'm not playing. I want to play. Okay, let's find a place where we can play, right? Set that bar up there where it's like, man, just a little out of reach. Let's go find that spot, right? But yeah, I think Division I of the 300 and something schools that are in Division I, I think you could divide the Division I into 4 divisions competitively. I think you could divide it into 4. There's a top, which are your consistently top 25 to 30 teams in the top. And then you've got a middle group you can divide into 2, which are your mid-majors. So you've got your top tier mid-majors, which are like the North Texases, Samford, Lipscomb, these teams that will beat some of the top tier teams from time to time. All right, and then you've got your bottom feeders, which is like the Southwest Athletic Conference, right? The best team in that league is right now Grambling State. And they're starting to beat up on some teams, but they're not going to beat very many teams above them. Okay, so if you want to play Division I soccer, if that's the goal, you can do that. But I would say there's some very good Division II schools and Division III schools that can beat up on some D1 schools, and there's NAIA too.
Can we talk about picking a college, not just for the soccer? I'll just say, from my experience, I went to a small school, fantastic coach in Becky Burley, totally blessed to have her and that experience. And we beat Virginia, we were beating some powerful D1 teams. But I picked that school. I wanted to play soccer, but I fell in love with the school, and it offered what I wanted to do as a career as well. So there's more reasons to pick a school, right, versus just.
100%. We got ridiculed at Baylor at times because we didn't produce very many professional soccer players. because most of my players wanted to be doctors.
Yeah. They're
So,
smart kids.
I had a few, the ones that wanted to go went. But the reality is they wanted to be professionals, as the NCAA moniker, professionals in something else, all right? And they did it, like the girl that's in New York, pressure sacking Renegades, who every team in the country called because they wanted her to come play professional. She's like, Coach, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. Go be a doctor or make 20 grand playing pro soccer. you pick, whatever.
Yes.
But the idea of that is they came to Baylor because they wanted a great soccer experience. They wanted to play at a high level, but they wanted to be a doctor or they wanted to be a teacher. They knew that their soccer life, so to speak, ended after college. And again, if we're talking about the top 7% playing college, what percentage of that 7% do you think actually go play professional after that? Professional soccer.
Another 7%.
Yeah, it's another 1% out of those people. Okay. And a lot of it isn't because of ability, some is just desire. You know, I'm similar to Lana. I went to a small school. I had no desire to play professional soccer. I was never one of those guys because I grew up with guys a lot better than me that were going to play pro, and I knew I wasn't that good. So I went in and got a degree. Went to a school that I knew that I loved. It was a small school and played Division II soccer and had a great experience. Won championships. I could have sat in the bench at a D1 school. I definitely would have sat in the bench or played at a D2 school, you know, and win some championships and have fun and have lifelong friendships and get a great degree. So I could go be a soccer coach. I did not.
One day.
I did not have a degree in soccer coaching. I have a degree in accounting, actually. And I know that 1 + 1 is 2. That's how good it goes. But yeah, you're looking at as you're starting to navigate that, you guys are a few years away from it. But the things you can do right now is, put yourself in environments where you're being pushed, where you're being challenged, where it's not easy, so you can get stronger, tougher, not just physically with your skill, but your mentality too. Stuff like this over a weekend, this is doing more than everybody else. This is one of the things that separates you. You're doing more than everybody else. You're committing an entire weekend. Your parents are committing an entire weekend. You're committing an entire weekend to do more than your competitors are doing. So this is a way that separates you. Okay, so I want to say that too, right? You're doing some of those things. What other questions?
With the 500 different leagues now, the ECNL, GA, and all that stuff. So the scouting opportunities, especially like between the ECNL, RL North Texas, does it go in order or is it weighted towards?
Are you GA or
No, we're Classic.
Class? Okay, but the club has a GA.
Yeah, GA, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the GA
And then RL and T.
yeah.
Right. Okay. I personally do believe that there are I could rank the different ones overall, like which league has I think the better players. I could rank it right now. It could change in 2 years. There may be 3 other new leagues in 2 years. It's ridiculous, honestly.
It is that they're adding one every year.
USYS where we play state, regional, go on and like that was the best. Anyway, but what I'll say to that is that I don't believe you have to be at those levels or at those certain leagues that I would rank to be seen. I don't. I think that if you're good enough, they'll find you. That's what I think. And as a coach, that's what we did. We scoured the earth to find the players that were the right fit.
Like ID counts and stuff like that. If you're not.
Yeah. Now that's becoming more and more of a thing. And
No, didn't you go to some high school games?
what's that?
Didn't you go to some high school games and they didn't watch a couple
We
players?
did early on.
Yeah.
I think, and some people ask that, like, do high school, like, there are schools that go watch high school games. I will say that we didn't. We spent most of our time at club events, at scouting events, at what's the word I'm looking for? Showcases. Because there's hundreds of more bang for my buck, right, than driving up to Dallas for a night to watch 2 teams play where there might be 3 kids that are worth watching. But that was just Baylor. But there are plenty of other schools that are, especially in the Dallas area. Like I know that a lot of those schools are watching local high school soccer, especially in Dallas because you got some really good high school teams. That's the thing, So they will watch some of that. And now there's more high school tournaments, preseason tournaments. I'm seeing more of that now. They're becoming scouting events.
Yeah, there are, yeah.
Yeah, that's the last couple of years. I feel like there's been more and more of that, which is it's a great thing.
Could we reach out to you as these kids start to become of age, the ones that are interested in doing college soccer, reach out to you about what showcases you think are more valuable than others? Because there's so many.
Yeah, I think, and I think,
Like when
like I
you
said,
have
it
that
can all
knowledge.
change in a year.
Yeah.
So I think as you get closer to that, if we need to have conversations
Yeah.
about what that is.
Should they start looking at showcases? Like what age?
What are we, eighth graders?
Eighth grade, yeah. Kind of
Some people will say ninth grade, I don't believe it. I think 10th grade. Because the recruiting process is, Division I and Division II schools can't even communicate with you about the recruiting process until June 15th going into your junior year.
Oh, they can't do eighth grade and freshman anymore? Couldn't they do that before?
No. Well, they could.
Yeah.
But
The
now
rules
we can't.
changed over the
Okay.
last,
That's good, actually.
it's
I think
great.
That's good,
I
yeah.
wish it was senior year.
Yeah.
honestly.
Right after they graduate, sophomore, go, like I said.
Right, after your sophomore year,
June.
that's when the coaches can really start communicating from a recruiting standpoint. They can send you all the camp information, the school information they want up to that point, but there's no recruiting material, Division I, Division II, until June 15th going into your junior year. So what I would say is that sophomore year is probably the time where you're looking to probably hit some showcases, especially that spring season, the
Okay.
showcases in the spring, because that's when coaches are really starting to trickle down into, preparing for that June 15th date. And again, don't put the emphasis on June 15th.
Yeah.
It's just a marker when they
Yeah.
can. If you're not getting
Yeah.
calls and emails on June 15th,
Yeah.
it's really not a big deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything, okay? It's not the apocalypse if it doesn't happen. But it's just a marker to know. So I would say sophomore year is probably a time to start.
Is that should girls start to communicate to, like, reach out to a coach? Like, I know
Probably the same.
same time, yeah.
Reach out if they can do that.
Yeah, like I know, like when I reached out to a bunch of different schools that I was interested in going to, reached out to the soccer coaches.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Right now in your development, you need to be working on all the things that you just
Yes.
talked about.
I agree, yep.
Oh, really?
Because things can change too, in 2 years, your
Yeah.
desires,
Listen,
your,
the college soccer scene is
Mhm.
changing rapidly right now with the transfer portal, with name, image, and likeness. The world is turning upside down on its head in college athletics right now. And I actually think you're in a really good position with your age because in the next couple of years, it's going to kind of filter itself out and it'll be a new normal. Right now, we're in topsy-turvy land and not really knowing what's coming. So if I was a sophomores and juniors right now in high school, I feel for them because the world they're entering into is crazy. We've just popped the COVID bubble. Everyone who got 17 extra years of college are now graduating. So the world is resetting again, back to a new normal. But now you've got transfer portal and easy transfer rules. But hopefully, unless there's another shift, which it could be, you guys are positioned, I think, in a really good place for a new normal that we can really navigate with some confidence of what the new college will look like.
and also some of these girls' desires might change, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right?
I played with girls that wanted to play,
Oh, yeah.
all they would do is play college soccer. When it got to that sophomore year in high school, I don't want to. I'm done.
Yeah,
I don't wanna play.
their worlds will change.
And then girls that have no interest in playing it, all of a sudden they're like, actually, I think I want to do like.
Yeah, well, it comes back to that, like, you're still developing and changing and growing, like, mentally and physically, and figuring out what you like and don't like about different things.
Find out who you are.
Yeah, find out who you are. Some of you, like, they're like kind of, maybe you feel like you're behind in some things. One day it's just gonna be like, damn, you're going. You're like, I like this. Let's go. Right? Some of you are like, everybody's gonna catch up to you. Right? I mean, it's just, that's the nature of how these things happen. She's right. I mean, your desires are gonna change too. And understand, hey, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like, the worst stories in the world are the girls that would sit in my office after their freshman year, and we're talking about like end of the year meetings, and like, Coach, I don't love soccer. I just realized I never really loved soccer after like 10th grade. But I've been doing it, one, because my parents always pushed me to do it, and I just felt like I had nothing else. And now I'm in college, and I realize I don't even like this.
Yeah.
That's the worst story.
Yeah.
So I want to say now, it's okay to question. It doesn't mean quit, right? Push through hard things, but really navigate and be okay with like, hey, your goals can
Yeah.
change. Your goals can change.
And I think there's value in just playing. Like,
Yes.
it doesn't have to be a college objective at the end of the day. Like, playing and growing as a person through the sport of soccer learning life skills through the sport of soccer, I think is amazing too.
I've had clients that I work with that are navigating the recruiting process, that in the recruiting process have realized like, oh my gosh, I love playing. I'm gonna go to college somewhere. I'm just gonna play on the club team.
Yeah.
I don't even wanna play
Yeah.
NCAA competitive.
Just
like,
fun, enjoy the
I wanna
sport.
enjoy college,
Yeah.
I wanna get my degree, I'm gonna focus on that, I'm gonna play soccer on the club team.
Yeah.
Um,
Because there's a lot of fun stuff you miss out on too, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, college soccer, I don't care what level of college soccer you play. Anywhere in Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, go to junior college, it's a job. It's not fun, it's not for fun. All right, once you get to that point. It can be fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. But it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You go to college, I always say you're working two jobs. You have a full-time job as a student and you have a full-time job as an athlete. And you are being required and demanded a ton of your time in both of those things. I had a girl the other day told me, said, I want to play in college and my academics are really important to me. I want to play at a really high level, but academics are important. So for me, if we're training, in the fall and my grades start to slip, I'll probably just take a couple days off of soccer to get, so that I can get my grades up. I'm like, no, you won't. You won't go to your coach and say, hey, my grades are slipping, I need to take off practice. Coach will say, get your butt in study hall after practice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the level of like, hey, you need to understand, like, if that's your goal, then Division III might be your level to go because academics are the priority of Division III. At some of the middle Division III schools where you could say, like, there is more time for academics. So those are things you measure as you're looking at different schools. There's nothing wrong with her doing
Right.
that. But I had to say, you need to understand, you're not going to play at a high-level Division I school with that mentality.
Yeah.
Because the coach wants you all in everything. Everything.
And there's a right place for everybody, right?
Absolutely. There's a right place for everybody. Yeah. Good. What else? Any other questions on that? Because you guys are really in a great spot of like,
Do you encourage kids to play multiple sports when they can?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. There's a point where I think you're about to that point where you've got to start focusing in. If you're going to play high level soccer, you're gonna have to start focusing in on soccer. But I'm a big proponent of playing getting a lot of different disciplines because I think it makes you a better athlete. And I also think the research I've read, it also helps with injury prevention.
Yep.
But I will say, I think this caveat is, I don't think that, and I want your opinion on this too, because I don't think I'm right about all this stuff. I don't think that cross country is the best secondary sport for a serious soccer player. What do you think?
Like, at what level?
High school.
High school level?
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossover in it. I think track would be a better option.
Great.
Yeah. But I don't see harm in doing it. If it's what
There's not a harm in it.
Yeah, because if you love cross country, I think it gives you a push for your brain. When you're doing those long runs, it's great therapy for your brain, I think, in that respect, right?
Sure.
But I think a crossover in basketball or track would be the better crossovers.
Yeah, the shorter.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Why don't you think cross country translates well? What is it?
I think when I look at that, I look at it at an elite level. So I'm looking at who are your elite athletes, and what I've seen with elite athletes is that there's no dial. It's on or off. So to be an elite cross country runner, what it takes to be an elite cross country runner, I don't think fits well nutritionally and physically for an elite physical soccer player. I'm talking elite players. And again, that's my opinion. I could be 1,000% wrong. But I think that if you love the running, you love it. I do think the track piece of it can do that better.
Because even track, they have 1 mile, 2 mile.
Right.
So they have
Right. I don't think that like you can get endurance training with less than having to do cross country. And again, I'm talking at an elite level. I had girls at Baylor that could not run cross country. They couldn't have done it, but they were great sprinters, or they were great half milers, or things like that. But they could not have.
And they could sprint, rest.
Right. They could not endure.
Yeah.
It could not endure the
Yeah.
the long distance stuff.
And that's more of what soccer is
Right.
sprint race.
Yeah.
I hear your the whole Baylor soccer team is now track athletes.
They are.
Did
They tried to do that to us a number of years ago.
they?
You want to know why? You want to know why?
They need people.
Huh?
They need people.
They need people, but they need people from a Title IX perspective more than they need bodies on the team. Yeah. So the Title IX is, a lot of people don't know this, the Title IX rule is that whatever your male to female ratio is at your school, your athletic department has to mirror that. So Baylor is 60-40 girls to guys.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's a reason we have like 50 girls on an acrobatic and tumbling team. That's why we have 50 girls rostered on an equestrian team where all like 7 girls ride. Most girls are scoop and poop in the barn. So you get to ride horses for free.
Skyler, it's a job for you.
Yeah. But so the track team numbers are down, and our girl numbers overall are down. So they're trying to find girls that will dual athlete because you'll count as 2 female athletes. You'll count as a female athlete whatever team you're on. So if you play soccer and track, you count as 2 females. If you play soccer and tennis, which we had some girls do tennis one time to help out with that, you get 2. So that's why it's crazy. I would not be excited about that.
As an athlete?
My one girl that actually was a great track, she was a 4-time Texas gold medalist in high school in I think the 200. She was a legitimate track athlete. We didn't allow her to run track until she was done with her soccer eligibility.
Yeah.
And then the spring of her senior year, she went and ran track. And that was her decision too. It wasn't just us, but it was like, it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, cause like it's a full-time job, like I said. At the college level, the soccer team is a full-time job.
Yeah.
You don't really need the extra.
I think that the focus on like again, the focus on one sport or multiple sports, the timing of that depends on what your level you want to try to attain at the end of the day is. One of my best players ever at Baylor was a dual athlete all the way through high school. She was an elite she could have played college basketball, and she came and was on the U17 women's national team in soccer. In fact, one of the few high school events I ever went to was her basketball game. Because I was recruiting her, I'm like, we gotta go watch her. Like, there'll be no other soccer coaches at the basketball game. We're gonna go. Chuck and I are gonna go and wear our Baylor gear and sit in the stands.
Yeah.
You know, I think that did it.
Yeah. Good job, coach.
But she was gonna go to Duke and change her mind. But she was an elite athlete. You know, when we were growing up, you had guys like Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders and those
You
guys.
had so many crossover athletes back.
Yeah,
in the day.
they were elite. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. So, good. What other questions?
And for the girls,
You guys?
When you're recruiting, what do you look at? What do you look at? Just
You know, I think you guys understand, like, it's obvious, I think it's obvious the things we talked about from a skill level, like how do you separate yourself on the field, right? Like, I think some things that you don't think about are coaches are watching you when you're not playing, okay? They're watching, like, if you're walking to the field and some coaches happen to be behind you, they're actually listening, like, how you're talking to your parents. They listen to how you talk to your coach. Because when you show up on campus, that becomes my problem, all right? So you watch attitude. I tell this story. I went to watch a girl play at an event, and I show up to the field, and she's not there. Like this kid, like we have to make a decision after the event. We're gonna offer a scholarship or we're not. We had to know. And I show up to the field, she's not there. I'm like, what a waste, you know? And next thing I know, she's running from the parking lot with a bag of balls. Well, you know, at club events, if you have a coach that has multiple teams, they're going from one to the other. Well, the team shows up to the field, the coach isn't there. She runs across the park to get the balls from her coach to bring it back to the field so they can start warming up for their match. I didn't have to watch the game. That was my kid. I wanted her.
Yeah.
Why? The leader.
Yeah.
I knew she was a good enough soccer player. We wouldn't have been recruiting her.
Yeah.
That was an intangible that you just don't know that about kids. So what is your character? What is your integrity? What are you a leader? You know? Oh, I didn't get it. But I didn't have to watch her play.
Yeah.
Because those are things that like we can talk about skill and skill all day. Like a coach can show up to a field and your goal is to be who you are. You're not trying to impress anyone who's watching you. You're trying to be your best for your team. If that stands out to a coach, then that might be your team, right? Don't try to be something that you're not,
Yeah.
to be something for someone you don't know. You want them to want you and like you because of who you are as a player, all right? Because that's who you're going to be when you get there anyway, right? So all the things we talked about, mental toughness and challenging your skill and being better, keep making yourself better and challenging yourself. But when you're playing, you are who you are, right? If that makes sense. And then you're going to attract the coaches that need that. Now, I'll say this. There may be a school you really want to go to. They may not need your position at the time. It may not be about you being good enough. It may just be like, we don't need that player for this year at this time, right? Or I've got 5 players just like that, you know? So how do you separate yourself and how do you find that fit? So those are things I think coaches look for. I want to say those things because those are things you don't think about, because it's all about, okay, once we get inside the lines and the whistle blows, now the coaches are watching. Yes, they are. But they're also watching you, when you're with your teammates. How do you interact? How are you talking to your coach? That's why coaches a lot of times don't want just video. They want to sit on the sideline. They want to hear what you're saying. They want to hear how you react to a coach who's on you, all right? Do you have to be like, how do you react to the refs? How do you react to like a bad foul? How do you react to the mistakes that you make? Because you're all going to make mistakes, right? How do you react? Do you shank a shot and your head goes down? Do you miss a tackle and your head goes down? I'm watching that. Oh man, they can't get through that. You made the mistake, and then you made another mistake by doing this. Because what should your reaction be? Get back, right? So you took one mistake and you turned it into 2, instead of making a mistake and then making up for it by doing the next best thing.
Making it a positive, right?
Making it a positive, right? So those are things I think that we don't talk enough about, that coaches are actually watching. And yes, they're watching between the lines, they're watching after the whistle blows, they're watching your skill, they're watching your technique, they're watching all of those things. Those are obvious, right? And that's obvious. We're watching soccer players. We want the best soccer players that we can find for our teams, find the best fit. But what are the other pieces we don't think about? It actually comes down to all of this stuff.
I maybe missed this, but did you talk about like, do you look at their social media and
Oh my
things they're
gosh,
posting?
yeah. Your social media is a living, breathing, up to the minute resume of your life, and coaches are watching it. There are, universities have AI systems now that will look at your social media and do searches all the way back to like basically like right now, your 8th grade year. They'll go all the way back and look at things that you've posted.
Posted any bad things or
Bad things, what are you talking about, what are you liking, what are you reposting, what words are being used, what pictures are being posted, things like that. So yeah, watch what you put on there. Another question we get is, should I have a soccer social media and a personal social media? No, just have it all together. We're gonna make it easier on the coach just to like find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch. And the other thing with social media too that I think we don't talk enough about is that you need to be careful who you're with, because everybody's got this, right? What situation are you putting yourself in that you're like, oh no, wait, no, I'll put my phone away. I won't take pictures. I won't blah blah blah. And this may go over your head, and maybe you'll stick a couple years down the road. And I hope that it comes back when it needs to. But everybody else has this, whether you do or not. I had some girls that they weren't allowed to. They made their own rule in college that they weren't going to drink during season. We didn't have that rule as coaches, but they made it for themselves, which I highly valued that. And some girls got in trouble because they were at a bar, just 3 of them, who's like, hey, let's just go to this bar, we'll hang out with the football players, we'll go hang out at the bar, and no one will know. They were all 3 roommates, none of the rest of the team was going to know. If I could put out our phones, no one's ever going to know. How did I find out? The football players were taking pictures of the soccer players at the bar with beer. So yeah, I found out. Okay, so it may not be just about yours. Everybody else has them too. So be careful what situations and things. Goes back to accountability. Who are you hanging out with? Who values what you value? Right? Who can hold you accountable to those things? Okay.
Cameras everywhere, right? There's
Everywhere. Everywhere. You can't. I mean,
they're unplugged.
anyway, you couldn't get away with something if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Anymore. So.
Your coach yesterday said that company corrupts, was it good character? Something that's pretty, telling.
Yes.
That was Carly?
That company corrupts good character. Absolutely. I had a wrestling coach when we were at Northern Illinois University. We had a wrestling team, and our wrestling coach was an amazing older guy. And he would say, he goes, I can predict the success of my team based on the houses that my guys live in. He goes, it never fails. I always have one house that's always a problem. And it's never all of them. It's usually one or two of them that corrupts the entire house. He goes, if I can find it soon enough and get those guys out, I'll have a successful season. He goes, if I don't catch it, I don't lose two guys, I lose a house of guys. And they live like 5 or 6 in a house together. And that always stuck with me. Same idea, right? Like, who do you surround yourself with? You know, like, you find yourself in a situation where, like, he put them in those situations. He created the roommates, right? So it wasn't the boys' fault for putting themselves in the situation. But if you get put in a situation like that, you have the ability to get yourself out of it, right? You can go to, you know, I would say, you know, you go to your coach and go, man, this is what's going on in our house. I gotta get out of here. You know, things like that. So that always stuck with me, the wrestling team.
Yeah.
So we've watched that with our girls. So, good. Anything else? You guys have been awesome. We've had a blast working with you guys. It's fun watching you guys grow up, watching you guys mature as people and as players. I hope we get to do it again sometime. It's fun. So if you guys ever, I mean, I hope you guys know this, but if you guys ever need anything from me and Marcy, we're always available to you guys.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
You
you
know
for your time.
that.
Yes, I know that. I take advantage of that.
Well, what you guys don't know is Lana served us before, like, you guys see us doing this stuff. Like, Lana was, like, huge in our lives before we got married. So she's already given enough. We're just trying to catch back up.
All right, girls, give Paul a round of applause. Thank you.
I'm glad I brought this seat out.
Yeah, good thing you hosted.
Hopefully you guys were staring at this blank sheet the entire time.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you guys. Marcy wants one. Do we get enough pictures? Marcy wanted one more picture.
Oh, okay, one more. Let's do one more.
I know Marcy gets what Marcy wants.
Right, this is true. This is true. Always.
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 Mom, my toe takes grapefruit. So
Show's a great one.
Here, girls, come.
Come on in.
You're Paul in the middle.
In the middle?
Paul in the middle.
Here, you put that on the table. Or do you want in the picture?
We had pizza.
What is?
You're not gonna be in the picture.
Yeah, you guys gotta get it.
Oh, you can step on it. It's fine. Are we too wide?
Yeah.
Too wide?
Yeah, you guys are a little wide. I can't see Savannah, Riley, Matt.
You too? Here, let's do 2 wide.
Can't see Skylar. Paul, you're too tall. I can't see Skylar.
Come on. Oh, yeah, front. Showcase player. Here, do you want to do meat? Should we do a salad? Oh.
Make sure there's a window.
I don't think she'll be able to see you.
This is like the most awkward. Okay, we're gonna take a few. Okay, Skylar, lay down now. You're good. Lay. Got it.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, guys.
All right, girls, pack your stuff. Sheets and towels in one room. We're gonna go. You want me to keep that?
Yeah. You want to take a picture of it? Yeah. I did test the market.
You did.
I want to do it small, so I did my finger. Well, I didn't bring it in first, so I'm like, you know what, I can't.
Yeah. Well, you know Marcy already wrote it on that for you.
Oh my gosh.
Are you hugged? Love you. So good to see you. It's some time with you.
Sorry for the crazy weekend.
No, that's fine. It's working out. Give me more time.
They bring the piece down or?
Yes. She said that they put them down there.
There you go.
Say,
All right, safe travels.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.
So when you go in the bathroom, make sure there's no water or trash cans, trash cans. Yeah, that means not getting.
I don't know how to.
All the big strip with the blankets still on the don't take the blankets off the duvet, you come on here. Bring blankets, towels, use living documents, and limit the control of your room and just dump them on the floor. Alright then, generally.
Is there a broom I can see or bathroom that